Gotta get paid, king of the streets. Young nigga made, spreading on the crowd.
Self-awareness. Where do we begin? Self-awareness, first of all, starts with honesty. If one is not honest with themselves, they cannot accurately analyze who they are and where they fit in this big world. 8 billion people are your competition for food, water, and shelter. Many of us do not look at the eagle eye view of any aspects of ourselves. Uh, Either we're overly critical of ourselves or we overly fantasize about who we are. But it is a very, very unique skill for someone to analyze themselves accurately. Self awareness um, is tied to who you want to be, is tied to who you were, is these things define who you are presently. Um, Many of us have a uh, person in our head that we want to be. You know, have you ever sat and thought about who you are? That is a very big question. In a lot of respects, we don't even know who we are. In a lot of respects, we never even tapped into our true identity because there's only so many categories in this society of who you can be. Look at the great people. They were either this, that, and the other. Very rarely do you get someone who has a profession that you never heard of or um, some type of talent that you never heard of. Most of the time, they're developing already established talents. They're mostly innovating already established professions. So when you think about who you already have so many categories that you have to put yourself in order to really blend in into this society, uh, in order to be able to be productive, because some skills, some talents, some actualizations really aren't allowed in certain societies. So, whenever you think about self awareness, you automatically put yourself in a box based on the society that you live in.
CB, I'm kinda fucking with it, show me some more. Bitch, we tatted head to toe, could give a fuck the story wrote.
Many of us see the world through a lens that has been developed from our past, has been developed from how people have made us feel in the past, how we anticipate people making us feel in the future. And many of us are avoiding fears. Many of us are um, not really maximizing who we actually are. Uh, a lot of factors that go into us not maximizing ourselves is because the competition around us. I saw a video by Jordan Peterson where he was explaining how the universe does not want to see you rich. The universe does not have an interest in seeing you succeed. The universe has an interest in weeding out the best of the best in order to thrust mankind into the future. A lot of times we have to realize that we may not be maximizing ourselves because we're not being honest in the self awareness phase. Who's making up the rules to the game? Who says that you have to be something that is already in people's mind or in someone's concept? Much of modern life really, really compartmentalizes us to a very, very small choice of uh, who we can be, but who we actually are. You know, there's some people when they tap into their self-awareness, and self-awareness is a big part of hope, because if you know who you are, you know what you're capable of. Now you know your possibilities. Now you know at least your risk have somewhat of a chance to succeed based on you evaluating yourself and analyzing yourself accurately. If you are one to be dishonest about yourself, you're going to find that you're not able to maximize your talents because you're always fighting against an untrue state of being. You may say, I'm a great basketball player, but you're not able to actually play basketball. You're going to fight against that. Who do you want to be? Who do you aspire to become? That question has been on the top of the mind of every single person who's walked this earth. Even Christ himself talked about going to prepare mansions. He talked about a future kingdom. He talked about being the king. He talked about his high place in the future. Everyone seems to be uh, focused on who we want to be in the future. And in a lot of respects, that anchors our morality. It anchors our self-awareness because we even go beyond our future on earth. And a lot of people, their morality is anchored by a future that they want to have beyond life. Maybe someone doesn't want to do a certain act because their self-awareness says that I don't want to be known as this person in the afterlife or in the future. I don't want to be labeled. So, self awareness in who we want to be guides a lot of our behaviors now. The truth is, folks, the one of the biggest tragedies in life is that 99.9% of us, if not 100% of us, are totally incapable of total self awareness. Everyone has some block. Everyone has some area of themselves that they cannot, for whatever reason, they cannot evaluate honestly. They cannot evaluate accurately. There are things that block our vision when it comes to ourselves. Even if someone tipped you off and told you some of those categories, you still would not be able to receive it because a lot of times we have defense mechanisms that really guide our self awareness. It really creates bumpers and boundaries for our self awareness so that we can never ever actually find out who we really are, because then that would stop us from functioning. So, a certain amount of error is built into self awareness in order to keep us functioning, in order to keep us hopeful, in order, even if your hope that you're going to, God knows you're going to succeed in the end, and your hope is unrealistic, tapping into a little bit of that false self awareness keeps us taking risk.